مرحبا يا جماعة، أهلا وسهلا فيكم. بدي أجيب لكم درس كتير مفيد ورائع. Let's take a look at it today. We're doing this. Notice I said مرحبا يا جماعة. جماعة is one of the words from this جذر. This is جيم ميم عين. So we're going to look at this. Let's start off right now by looking at the first word, which is the masdar, the simplest form of, many of these have more than one masdar. They have أكثر من masdar. They have many masadir. So this is the most basic form, though, the fatha with the sukoon. Whereas in Amiya, of course, we don't pronounce this jam'un or jam'an or anything like that. We would say jama'. Jama' is the way we'd say this, with jumu'a being the plural of this word. And by the way, this is used to mean plural. One of the meanings of this is plural. So we would say, Shu jama' hal-kilmeh. What is the plural of this word? And this is plurals, just like we would say there are many plurals. There are many plurals for this word, okay, which happens in Arabic quite a bit. I would say we have quite a few words that have more than one plural. In fact, we're going to see one here in this set. All right, so jama' jumu'a, that is one meaning. The second meaning we use this in addition. So we use it in language and in science. We say addition, or like in riyadiyat, we say in mathematics, we say jama', which is the addition or adding. Addition or adding. So the other way we might say this is a group of people, a collection of people, or a group, like a grouping of people. In particular, we'd say group. All right. So we could say, for example, this is more fusha, but we could say هناك جمع من الناس عند الباب. So there is a group of people, or a mass of people at the door. This would mean more than 6 or 7 people. So it'd be like 10, 20, 30 possibly. We could also say it here. We could say خاطب المتكلم جموع من الناس. جموع means a throng or a large audience of people, okay? Which would mean, talking about a large group, like 100 or more. So that's the plural there. The last way we would use this would be for collecting or bringing together, okay? So bringing together of people. So that would be how that would be used, bringing together of people. So you're getting kind of the feel of this, right? This is how this is working so far. We're going to see the verb from it, the simplest verb, which is, here it is, jama'a, 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 and this is just an example of one of the ways we might use it. So the first way we could say is ijma' al-arqam, ijma' al-arqam, add together the money, okay? Add together the numbers, الأرقام. اجمع 2 و3 شو بيساووا. So that means, add 3 and 2. So ijma' is addition. It means literally add, okay? Or put them together, add them, all right? Also, we could say, في مشاكل في زواجهم بدي أجمعهم مع بعض. So جمعهم مع بعض means either a group of people or could be 2 people, like bringing them closer, like unifying them or bringing them together. That's literally what it means, is bringing together. Okay, so you get the idea. It's collection, it's adding, it's bringing together is the idea that permeates this root. Now let's look at the other words that come from it. Let's see that. So the next one is جمعية. جمعية. جمعية, خيرية is maybe an example from this, we might say. But جمعية, mostly, if you say the word جمعية, an Arab is going to think immediately a humanitarian type, a charity. They're going to think of a charitable organization. جمعية. جمعية, charitable organization. Now, what does this have to do with collecting? All right. Well, what does a جمعية do? Well, they collect تبرعات and أموال. So they collect things that are donations, okay, and also they collect monies for doing good. So جمعية, this idea is that there is a purpose for this to benefit others. Also, we would say جمعية for like a particular family. So here in Jordan, particularly in Jordan, and also I think in maybe some other countries in the Levant, people will have a group of relatives will have a place that they go, and they call it a جمعية. They meet together as a family. They strengthen their relationships. It's a gathering place for the tribe, if you will. So a جمعية, خيرية, is something that we would say would be like a charitable organization. So خير means goodness. خيرية is the adjective for جمعية. So charitable, like a charitable organization, okay, or a charity. That's how we'd say it. Let's look at the next one. The next one is الجمعة. الجمعة. الجمعة is the word for Friday. Now, you might say, okay, well, the other I can see, but this has no connection to this idea of gathering or collecting. However, it does, because Yom al-Jum'ah, or al-Jum'ah we say, means Friday. What happens on Friday in the Arab world? Well, a lot of people, men especially, leave their homes, bring their sons, and they go to the mosque. So they go to the mosque, they collect, they gather in the mosque. And this is why we would say al-Jum'ah. Al-Jum'ah. And you can see here al-Jum'ah means the plural. So this is Fridays. You can say ayam al-Jum'ah. Ayam means days of, like, it literally means Fridays. Like نجتمع احنا وwe بنروح على المسجد أيام الجمعة. All right? Or you could say بنروح على المسجد الجمعة. All right? Fridays. Okay? Next one is جماعة. This is the one I said before, and this means a group. A group. So جماعات, all right? جماعات means groups. Groups. في 3 جماعات جايين من we might say Switzerland, okay? There are, well, I say 4 or 5 4 أو 5 جماعات coming from this particular place, okay? جماعات. جماعة is group, but it's somebody we know or we have relationship with. Whereas if you might say جمع is just a mass of people or a grouping of people, you don't know who they are. They're just people. All right, so that's the particular about جماعة. جماعة is used a lot in Amiyya. Okay, so the next one, let's take a look at the next one. It is جماعي. جماعي is the adjective. Notice the ya. It's the adjective of جماعة. So it's an adjective meaning group. So we might say القرار القرار جماعي. It is a group decision. We might say we have إفطار جماعي, which is like a group breakfast. Group breakfast. So this is kind of how that's used, جماعي. And then the next one is جماع. Okay, جماع, it means and this is used more in Fusha or in medicine or in the sciences. It's used in a more formal way, okay? But we say it in Amiyya. And it's the cleanest word, one of the cleanest words you can get when you're talking about this particular subject, because it means intercourse or sexual intercourse, or it means sexual relations, okay? But you might say marital relations, because that's what it's mostly used for in the context of a marriage. It's not used for like sleeping around. This would be jima' is, and there's no plural. It just means sexual intercourse, okay? And it's kind of understood that it's between a married couple, okay? That's that. Now we have jama'. Jama', and then we have jama'een, okay? Now, you might be thinking, jama', oh, I know what that means. If you're a Muslim, you should know what that means. However, this particular one, if you look at the plural, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about jama' ism al-fa'il, just like the other word is. Let's just put them together. Here we go. This is jama' and this is jama'. But notice the plural here is jawama'. This means masjid, or it's the same as masjid. It means mosque. Mosque. And it's literally, what is the mosque? The place where people gather for prayer. So the community comes out, the Islamic community, and they go to the mosque. It's jama', all right? Jawama' is the plural. This is used a ton. Masjid and jama' are used all the time, and that's how that's how people use them, just for mosque. But this one is different. This one means a collector. A collector, jama'. You can say ana jama' tawabi'. All right, I collect, or I'm a collector of stamps. Okay, and then you have jama'een. Now we say in Fusha jami'een or jami'un, but it's in Amiyya we put a sukoon for the ism al-fa'il plural on the letter here, like on the ain, on the meme, and it becomes jam'een, jam'een, jam'een. Okay, so that's collectors. So it's someone who gathers things together, collects things. Here, the place where people collect. It is weird though, because we don't normally use this. A masjid is a noun of place, and that fits. But here, because there's another word that's used for this as a noun of place, and we'll see that in a minute. But because of the context within religion, and maybe it's because it's very popular, they buck the system a little bit and use this particular form, ism al-fa'il, for that. So let's look at the next. The next one is jami'a. Jami'a. Okay? So you notice you have to pronounce them, or else you completely lose people, okay? يعني we have to لازم نلفظ الكلمات صح, or there's problems. So we have to pronounce correct. This in Amiyya we would say jam'a, okay? Sukun al mim, jam'a, all right? Jam'a means, there's a couple different meanings, but basically the most used idea of this is a university. University, jama'a. Now, why university? Because at a university, people collect experience, and you teach people things from information that you have collected, okay? So a professor feeds people what he gathers, from the sciences or from knowledge. So jama'a is a place where you disseminate gathered information. Okay, jama'a, jama'at. But let's look at a couple examples of how this might be used. Here, this might be used also to mean a league. Okay, the Arab League, for example. The Arab League is Jami'at al-Dul al-Arabiyya. All right, the League of Arab Nations, if you will. All right. Also, this is the name, the specific name of a book in the Bible, the Old Testament, and it's known by Christian Arabs as Sifr al-Jami'ah. Sifr al-Jami'ah. Sifr means book for the Old Testament, an Old Testament book, and al-Jami'ah, Jami'ah, is the specific name, okay? And why is it, this means, by the way, the translation in English is Ecclesiastes. So Solomon wrote this book. And King Solomon, he lived and he was very wealthy, gathered, tried everything. And then he came to the end of his life and he concluded that, well, you can read the last part of the book and see it, but basically it means الحياة باطلة ما فيها معنى. And that's the idea. No matter what we do, the money we collect, it goes to someone else. All the experiences we have, we die and they're gone. So no effects are really, for us, there's no really real benefit in life. And so that's the idea. But there's wisdom in the book, and that's how come it's there. So it's kind of like this idea of here, teaching people. Next one is jami'i, and jami'in. Okay, jami'in or jami'in. All right. Now, what is this? Well, this is the adjective from jama'a. All right, jama'a. Jami'i means a student who's in college. So we can say talib jami'i. Huwa talib jami'i means he's a student in school. But you can say also a professor in a college. You could say he is jami'i. Why? Because when we say jami'i as an adjective, jami'i means, or hiya, jama'iyya, means she is a graduate or a university degree, a degree holding person. She has a degree, okay? So either a student or someone who holds a degree. That's the adjective. And jami'in is the plural, all right? So let's look at the next one. Majmu', all right? Majmu' is for this one, is the ism al-maf'ul, okay? Majmu'. And this one is used a lot specifically for a bill. So we might say, or accounting, we might say, قديش المجموع الكلي. قديش المجموع الكلي means what is the total amount. This means amount. المجموع. So لما بنجمع أرقام بالنهاية we have what's called المجموع, the amount, okay? The total, all right? Total amount or the amount. All right, next one. Okay, the next one is مجموعة. So, مجموعة. This is مجموع and this is مجموعة. مجموعات. All right, so this is exactly like جماعة, except for it is people that we don't necessarily know. So it's kind of like جمع, but مجموعة and جماعة are used a lot, whereas جمع is not so much as a group. It might be more فصحى. So مجموعة, يعني we could say في مجموعة من الناس برا. There's a group of people برا. Or we could say كم مجموعة عنا هالفصل, or كم صف. So how many, كم مجموعة means how many groups, even though it's مجموعة, because كم, well, if you don't know that, you need to study it. But basically, كم is always used in singular, but it means groups, how many of something. But we use a singular. All right, so this is only the first slide. Now we're going to get to the second slide. So stick with us. We'll let you see these while we're switching over to the slide. Inshallah جاهزين. We're going to look at the next one is مجمع. مجمع. So this is a noun of place, مجمع. And here's the thing. It's a noun of place from form 1. And the plural is مجامع. So this basically has two meanings. مجمع, first, the foremost meaning of it is a synagogue. So that would be a Jewish place of worship, like a place where they go to do prayers or what have you. So مجمع is synagogue. مجامع, synagogues. Now, the second definition for this, the way we use it, would be مجمع would be like an academy, if you will, or a place that, well, not really academy. Let's say it's, if you have scholars that come together, you could say it is like a synod, all right, or a collection of people, an assembly who are making decisions based for religious reasons. So it could be a synod, or I'm not sure of the other English word we use, maybe a council. Yeah, that's it, like a religious council where people come together and meet. So if there was a problem, they would call a mejma, together assembly for that. But that's a very specific meaning. This isn't used that much, so not really a word you need to know necessarily, but mejma is mostly thought of as a synagogue. That's mostly how it's used. Next one, jamia. Jamia is a big word, big important word for fusha. All right, for fusha, not in Ammiya. We don't use this in Ammiya, but you might see it written in places like you would if you go to a place that sells awa'i or malabis. You might محل أواعي. You might see this. You might see it written. جميع أنواع من الملابس or something like that, or من whatever might they have. They might have. So it means all of. Okay, all. Okay, all or all of. جميع عم بحكي not عم بحكي. You could say هو نتكلم مع الجميع. He is speaking to all. جميع. All right? Or we could say جميع الدول الأفريقية. All right? So all the countries of Africa. So it's like كل. Okay? Next one is أجمع. أجمع is a comparative. And this one, kind of like أكثر or something. But أجمع means entire. Okay? Entire. So we would say العالم أجمع. Now, you could say العالم الأجمع, like the entire world, but mostly, more often than not, and this is more fusha, it's used in Ammiya too. No, it's fusha. We would say كلياته, كله, العالم كله, or العالم كلياته, or كل الناس, or we'd say الناس كلياتهم, like that. So أجمع means entire. So العالم أجمع. Or we could say الناس أجمع. All right? The entire, all the people, or the entirety of the people, kind of like that. So that's how that's used. And it usually for this, it would be a strict comparative in meaning and everything else. But because of the definition of the word, you're really saying the most of, all right? So the entire, all right? كل الدول كل الدول العالم أجمع. All the nations of the world, the entire, in entirety, like that. The next one actually literally means in its entirety. So this is basically a badil. This kilme is a badil for this one. You can use it, it comes at the end a lot of times. So, of a phrase or sentence, you would say, bi ajma'ihi. Bi ajma'ihi is the same as ajma', but you have a suffix on the end, أجمعه, or بأجمعها, if you're talking about a feminine noun. All right? So, الأرض, so you say العالم بأجمعه, excuse me, العالم بأجمعه, بأجمعه. It's a lot of times what people say. But بأجمعه is fusha, and also here you have بأجمعهم, all right, for them, all right, if it's a plural, all of the people or all of the soldiers or what, okay. So that literally means in its entirety, okay. The next one is form 2. So all those words from the last slide, last screen, and this shashe, this screen, are, well, not all of them, but this black is form 1. Form 2, you can see it in the blue here, jamma, all right, or jamma in Fusha. Jamma is used more than form 1, and it has basically the same meaning, but it has maybe an additional meaning to it, we might say, and another meaning that's not there. So it's you don't use this for addition. We don't say جمع الأرقام. No, we would say جمع for collecting. Like بدنا نجمع المصاري من كل الموظفين. All right, we want to collect or gather up, the money that people owe or whatever, all employees. So جمع يعني هو بيجمع طوابع, like he collects stamps, like we said before. So that would be he collects or he gathers something up. Now, here's one way we might say too. We might say بطلت أجمع. بطلت أجمع means I'm unable to, or I have literally, بطلت means I have quit or stopped gathering what? Afkari. So I've got a block. I've got a mental block. All right, I can't think anymore. I'm done. My brain stopped. That's what it means. بطلت أجمع. This is used quite a bit when you can't think, when you're unable to think anymore. But جمع also means brought people together, unified people, brought them together, you see. So it could be brought them together, like literally a group of people together. بدنا نجمع الناس بغرفة رقم 2. All right, we're going to get the people together in room number 2. All right, or in the qa'a, in the like the area, like the large area not meeting room, غرفة الاجتماعات, but I forget what qa'a is in English exactly, but it's the large room, the lounge, basically. All right, and you could also say من جمع بدنا نجمع الناس, like grouping them, but it's got to be a group of people. So not 2 people. That's for يعني بدنا نجمع هالزوجين. So this married couple, we want to get them together, make them be closer together. So منقربهم, we say. So this is used for groups of people, like we want to unify the class, for example, because there's problems between them. All right. Okay, next one. Oh, almost forgot. This reminds me, because tajmi' is really more used for one specific definition that I forgot to add in for jamma. Jamma also can mean to put together parts, to assemble parts to make something. So we could say مكيف, هل مكيف, هل هالسيارة يعني هالسيارة من شركة صينية بس تجميعها الأردن. So that means its assembly was in Jordan. I don't believe we do تجميع for cars here in Jordan, but you get the example. So تجميع is the masdar from it, means assemblage, or no, assembling. But so we can also say جمع, بدنا نجمع القطعة, or we could say puzzle, for example. And the word for puzzle in Arabic is, they say puzzle. So you could say بدنا نجمع البازل, like put the pieces together, solve the puzzle or put the puzzle together. Next one is مجمع. This is still from form 2. It's the اسم المفعول. Okay, اسم المفعول. And مجمع is used a ton. It is an office building. Office complex is actually the best way to say it. So it is a grouping of offices in a building. That's all it is. So virtually almost every building that's a commercial building here in Jordan is مجمع. All right, مجمع, مجمعات. Okay, so that's the meaning there. Next one. All right, the next one is form 3. Form 3. Now, form 3, let's just go and look at two of them, the two that are from form 3. This one is not used as much, but the verb itself, it's going to be more, well, actually it's used on me as well, okay? جامعوا, or no, it's more fusha actually. Yeah, it's fusha. So جامعة means he had sexual intercourse or marital relations with someone, all right? So that's what that means. You remember the word jima', which means sexual intercourse? Well, this is the verb. Now, mujama'a means also sexual intercourse. It's the noun. It is the masdar from jama', form 3. But here's the thing. Sometimes you can find this or the masdar from form 1 will be used more than the masdar from a form 4 or a form 8 or what have you. So it's kind of strange, but this is how they've got different ways to form a masdar. And in form 1, you can take any of the meanings. And this has multiple root essence meanings, but they're all connected. Well, no, they have one root essence meaning, and they form a number of different definitions or meanings from it. One of them being coming together sexually or intercourse. You get the idea of intercourse means things entering the course of the, intercourse means coming together. So, jama'a is the noun, and then also mujama'a is not used as much, but it is understood. So, that's that. Okay, so the next one is a form 4, but now I did make a mistake here. I wasn't paying attention, and I got one of them. This is form 4. I really meant to put this as gold, but it's no big deal. We'll just ignore the ala here and the red color. But really, it's ijma', ajma'a. Ajma'a means they got together and agreed upon They got together and agreed. Okay, so they got together and they agreed. It means they agreed upon something. It could mean that they got together over the phone, on messages, whatever, but they cohesively agreed on something. Now, ajma'a ala, when you put ala, it means for basically doing something. So you're going to have a masdar behind it saying doing something, okay? Or you would have ala annahum or ala annahu, whatever. So I'm not really kind of drawing a blank. بطلت أجمع بهاي. So ijma' means they get together and they agree upon something. Okay, that's used in Fusha and Ami as well, but more Fusha, so like formal, used in politics or just about anything. But here, mujma' alayh. Mujma' alayh. This is because this is form 4. We don't normally have a ism al-maf'ul as much from form 4, but this is one, and it's mujma' عليه or مجمع عليه. All right, that means what's not mentioned is قرار. قرار is what this is. عليه, he is referring to, or عليه is referring to. And so what does it mean? It means it's been agreed upon, okay? It's been agreed upon. The idea, though, is meeting together and coming together on something. So they agreed upon something, all right? It's been agreed upon, all right? That's what that means. Next one is بالإجماع, or, well, actually it's إجماع, and then, of course, another way we might use it is بالإجماع. What is إجماع? This is the masdar from أجمع على, and this is, of course, all this form for. And إجماع means agreeing upon, okay, or having a consensus about, okay, about doing something. على شيء معين or على شيء معين. بالإجماع means unanimously. بالإجماع unanimously, or in full agreement, basically. بالإجماع. All right, unanimously. Next one is تجمع, or we'd say اتجمع. Now, this one's used in Ammiya or in Fusha, and this is form 5, okay? Form 5 here in the gray. And basically, when we have the idea of gathering at a certain place to then go somewhere else, that's what this is, okay? We could say نقطة تجمع. Let's look at the masdar from it. نقطة التجمع means the gathering place. Like if there is emergency, this is the place you should go. You might have this on a ship or maybe in a city, you know. That would be that. But tajammu' is gathering, okay? Gathering. But not gathering for a meeting, but gathering to go to a certain specific place to then go somewhere else, okay? So the jamma means we assembled, we could say assembled together at a certain place, all right? And then we had a meeting, all right? But the idea is assembling together at a certain place and then doing something else, like going somewhere or then meeting. But this isn't meeting. Like it's not we met, it's we assembled together, okay? Or he assembled, well, you could say tajamma an-nas, like the people gathered together. And that's the noun from it, gathering together or assembling together. And the last one. Well, no, this is not the last one. We got more. There's a whole nother slide. Forgot about that. So, ijtama is used a ton. This word, this verb, means he met. He met with. And ijtama'na ma ba'd. We met together. So this is assembled together. And this is literally met, okay? Had a meeting, okay, is the little meaning of it. Had a meeting together, or I met with, okay? Ijtama'a ma. Now we see the very much used noun from it, the masdar, ijtima'. Notice how you form the masdar on these. Very, very simple. Except for form 1, all the forms have one way to form a masdar. And if you're watching in these videos, you'll see it, and that's the form you use. Just plug and play. Ijtima' means meeting. Ijtima'at, meetings. That's it. يعني في اجتماع اليوم أي ساعة? Is there a meeting today? What time? So now we finished the second slide. I'm going to let you look at them, and then we're going to get the next slide up. يعني بعد شوي. تمام؟ طيب, here we go. Last slide. We only have about 6 words here, maybe 6 or 7, I don't know. But let's take care of them now. And then you guys are going to be excited because you're going to know يعني كل كل الكلمات من جميع الكلمات from this one جذر, which is quite a bit here. So here it is. This is Form 8. We just had that's two words from Form 8, اجتمع, and اجتماع. Here we have اجتماعي. Notice the it's the adjective from it. It means, okay, so someone who, let me explain it this way. اجتمع means he met, okay? He met with someone. So if we say, and اجتماع means meeting. So a person who loves to meet with others is what? Social. Yes, that's it. Social. So this means, اجتماعي means outgoing or social. Outgoing or social. So we could say, يعني هو شخص اجتماعي كثير. بحب الناس وبحب يحكي مع الناس. So اجتماعية, she is outgoing. اجتماعيين, they are outgoing. Now, it's also used as an adjective for example, for social security. So we say here in Jordan, we say الضمان الاجتماعي. الضمان means like guarantee, and اجتماعي means social. So it's social security. They just say it differently because ضمان is something that's secure. It's a guarantee, if you will. So الضمان الاجتماعي is social security. Now, next one is مجتمع. مجتمع. So مجتمع means, quite frankly, it just means participant. Someone who is a meeting goer. Someone who's at the meeting. مجتمع. But it's not participant except for in like meetings or a conference. You know, we could say أنا مجتمع بالمؤتمر. All right? So I am a participant in the مؤتمر. All right? مجتمع. And مجتمعين. All right, so the next one is, you can see it here, is مجتمع. مجتمع means community or society. Community or society. So, well, we just use it like we would in English. So we could say المجتمع المجتمع might say يعني المجتمع الأفريقي بهالبلد, you know, the African community in this country, and we could say مبسوطين, they're happy or whatever. So مجتمع is society or community. It really means community. مجتمعات. يعني المجتمع بالأردن بيحبوا مثلا الراحة برا, يعني برا البيت. They like to relax, or they like to relax outside the house. المجتمع, the society. Okay, next one is Form 10. So it's in the pink. Form 10, اجتمع. اجتمع is the verb from Form 10. Notice the ist. Ist is the giveaway there. Alif, sin, ta, always going to be on Form 10 at the front. And this means, the tendency of meaning for this one, for this verb form, is to seek to do something or to consider something to be a certain adjective. So this is more like to seek to. And اجتمع, we could say بدي اجتمع أفكاري. بدي اجتمع أفكاري. Like, I need to collect my thoughts. So that's what it means. He collected his thoughts. So he sought to combine his thoughts or get his thoughts together. All right? I'd like to get my thoughts together. Also, it will be used for يعني اجتمعوا قوتهم. اجتمعوا قوتهم means they gathered their strength. They gathered their strength. Like for something, for a big task or for war or whatever. All right? But outside of those two, it's not really used. I mean, we don't say they, like in English, we say gathered their courage or whatever. Not done with this particular one. I think that would be استرجع. يعني. So this is, though, used for those two. All right? And then we have lastly, I believe it's the last one. Yes, it is اجتماع. اجتماع not اجتماع, استجماع. See, بطلت أجمع. So استجماع is the noun from this. It just means gathering or collecting. So إذا بدكم وقت عشان استجماع الأفكار أو أفكاركم, استجماع أفكاركم, بعطيكم 5 دقائق. All right. So if you need time to collect your thoughts, I will give you 5 minutes. All right. So استجماع is the last one. Alhamdulillah. So we are finished. Now, inshallah, we'll see you guys next time. And you know we're going to bring you quality content. So please tell others about our channel. And we'll see you المرة الجاي.